Good afternoon, and welcome to the Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union 2017 Lunch and Learn series. Today's presentation is brought to you in partnership with Coffee, a nationwide financial coaching and education center focusing on improving the financial health of individuals. As the premier credit union of Prince George's County, they have joined with Coffee to expand their mission of providing quality financial education to their community and lending insight into credit management, home ownership, and money management. Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union is a full-service financial institution serving anyone who lives, works, or worships in Prince George's County, Maryland. This year, they are celebrating 50 years in business and are one of the county's best-kept secrets with competitive loan and savings rates, as well as discounts to national retailers. They currently serve over 16,000 members in the area and welcome you to come and experience the benefits of membership as well. Later on in the presentation, I will display their contact information and answer any specific questions you may have concerning your financial needs. Please note that today's webinar is live and all phone lines have been muted. If you have questions, please feel free to type it into the question field on the right-hand side of your menu bar. All questions are private and will be addressed at the end of our discussion. We will be offering a free 60-minute financial coaching session with the completion of 3 webinars. More information will be given at the end of today's presentation. And lastly, a recording of today's session will be available within 2 days. Details will be sent to your email following the presentation. And with all that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Charmaine Williams, and I will be your presenter today. I would also like to apologize in advance. I am a bit stuffy, and hopefully you can understand me clearly. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to talk about is common money issues. A survey by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or the AICPA, found that 61% of parents give their children allowances, most starting by the time children reach the age of 8. Since most of us learn by doing, an allowance can give your child the chance to learn about handling money while the stakes are still pretty small. Financial advisors point out that having a regular amount of their own income is the only way kids can learn to manage money properly. Real-life practice is essential in order for your children to fully understand how the scenarios and methods work during our daily lives. And if your kids want to borrow from you, then teach them how lending works in the real world. Charge an interest rate and draw up an agreement. And then every child should understand how challenging it can be to save for a college education, especially with the skyrocketing costs. So depending on your financial situation, allowances will vary. The average American family pays approximately 50 cents per week for each year of the child's age. So meaning a 10-year-old would get $5 a week. Now, many parents have strong views about whether allowances should be tied to chores. Some parents won't pay an allowance unless the weekly chores are done. Others view chores as something kids should do as part of a family and not something for which they should be paid. But that all depends on you. You want to pay the allowance at a set time each week. Otherwise, you'll forget, and the kids will start telling you that you owe them a small fortune. They remember everything. If your kids are going to learn about money, then they should also be learning about saving money. Require them to get into the habit of savings by having them set aside a portion of their allowance in a safe place, such as a savings account, piggy bank, etc. Usually, the wants outweigh the needs, and that is both for adults as well as children. They may want to spend their money on all kinds of junk, but make certain that they understand the difference between needs and wants. They need a new pair of sneakers, so they should use some of their own money. They want a new video game, which is more important, you know? Sometimes you have to keep your 2 cents to yourself and allow your kids to occasionally spend foolishly. And when they realize they are out of money when they need to make a purchase, you want to use that situation as a learning tool. It's important to have guidelines, but on certain occasions, let the kids go out on a limb. If you're paying your child $10 a week in allowance, don't give them a $10 bill. Break the money up into smaller denominations so that they can separate their savings with the money that they plan on spending. Otherwise, they may spend the whole thing. Now, this is something that I'm sure we've all seen in the store, maybe have experienced at some point in time. So, whether we realize it or not, how we were raised has a tremendous impact on how we make decisions as adults. Sometimes the results are positive, certainly, but other times the results are detrimental to our well being, especially when it comes to our financial health. This doesn't mean that we can just blame mom or dad or both for our money mistakes and leave it at that. But once we understand the root of our bad habits, we can take ownership on them and make a conscious effort to change them. So, a few examples. The first one is not teaching your kids about money. So, the behavior with that is that, okay, it's a very common problem and often due to the subconscious perpetuation of their own parents' lack of financial education. So, if your parents did not show proper financial skills and money management, then that's what you learned. Money has a notorious reputation for being a dirty or taboo to talk about. Okay. And of course, women have a long history of being kept in the dark when it came to household finances. So, generations of parents have avoided discussing money matters with their children out of ignorance or preference. Now, the way that influences you is that you become money foolish, and probably in a variety of ways, whether it's overspending, undersaving, avoiding investing, or financial planning in general. You have no foundation of knowledge when it comes to money management. So you are left to hopefully learn from your mistakes. And if your kids are seeing that, then that's what they're learning. So the solution to that problem would be to get educated. You can also take it a step further by hiring an experienced, qualified financial advisor. Get referrals from family and friends and interview several candidates until you find one that you like and trust. If you have kids of your own, which obviously you're in during this webinar, you probably do have kids, you want to make it a priority to talk to them about money and involve them in your financial planning activities so that they can break the cycle as they get older. And then another mistake is living large. So the behavior behind that is that maybe your parents were compensating for being deprived as kids during their childhood, or maybe they felt the need to keep up with the Joneses. So, whatever the reason, your parents spoiled themselves and probably spent more than they should. Now, how that influences you is that you might live beyond your means as well. And as much as we try to avoid turning into our parents, it often happens. Growing up in a home where your role models lived a lavish lifestyle would make it particularly challenging for you to adopt a modest one, especially if you know to yourself that you all weren't wealthy or rich with that kind of money. So the unfortunate result is that you're likely to not just try to keep up with the Joneses, but keep up with your parents as well. And the solution to that problem is if you can't go as far as physically removing yourself from an environment that tempts you too much to overspend, then you need to put constraints in place to force yourself not to. That means setting up an automatic transfer to save money that you would otherwise spend and dedicating an account and debit card just for discretionary spending with no overdraft protection. Because again, you don't want to overdraft your account and you don't want to be overspending. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and kids learn from us. They learn from what they see. So you want to make sure you're setting a proper example, managing your finances and your money properly so that they can learn how to do it too and they'll be responsible in their adult years. The next is having kids make money on their own. Now, age is a factor in this category, but I'm going to give you a few ideas for them to make their own money. If your children are old enough to earn their own money, usually some start at around age 7 or 8 and then older, you want to help them research business ideas that appeal to them. Assist them as they learn about marketing, keeping track of income and expenses, and following up with their customers if they have. A few ideas are that you can have the kids clean the house, not just their room, but the whole house. Make sure that you get creative, have them polish furniture, clean the grout, appliances, etc. Have them get outside and get wet by cleaning the family cars. Maybe they can set up a business in the neighborhood and clean some of the neighbors' cars as well. Kids love the holidays, so you can let them take control or at least some control of putting up the holiday decorations and maybe even offering their services to elderly neighbors or grandparents. Another thing that they can do is care for the family pet or pets. There's grooming, feeding, walking, and also this is another thing that they could do for neighbors around the neighborhood. The litter box always needs to be cleaned. Depending on how old they are, you can have them mow the lawn or weed the garden. Let them create flyers and pass them out around the neighborhood as well. And then also, babysitting is a great way for teenagers to earn extra money, and it gives them a ton of responsibility. Excuse me, sorry. I don't know what that was. So, we're going to talk quickly about real life practice. The next time you're in a restaurant, you're going to want to introduce your kids to tipping and the percentage that you leave to service people or the servers. The next is let your kids help you with the ATM machine. You know, they all love this. They want to push the buttons. They can push the buttons and count the money once it's dispensed. Take them shopping with you and show them the sale items and why you buy items on sale. You know, depending on, again, how old they are, you may want to let them know, all right, we're going grocery shopping today. Maybe our grocery budget is $150. This is our list. All right. Give them a little calculator and be like, okay, we cannot spend past that 150. You're going to have to add up the items and we'll try and get everything on the list for that amount of money. What's on sale? See if they pick up sale items. See if they pick up an item that maybe isn't name brand, but it's store brand, but it's less money, and they could see the value in that. So, give them some responsibility. And then also make coupon clipping a fun event and also a learning event. They can understand how they can help the family save money. Now, you don't have to do extreme couponing unless you're into that, but couponing is a good way to start. Show them options. Teach them how to comparison shop, okay, so that they could learn, all right, maybe it's better if I buy this item at that price instead of this item for a higher price, or maybe I could find the same item somewhere else for less money. So you always want to show them that real life practice helps them along the way. Now, I mentioned earlier about saving money. So this is a cool concept. If you are paying an allowance, you can get three mason jars from the dollar store or whatever, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, wherever, and label one spend, label the other share, and label the last one save. So every time your child receives money or their allowance, whether for doing chores or maybe they got had a birthday and they got money in their birthday cards, you want to divide the money among the jars. Have him or her use the spending jar for small purchases like I don't know, candy, stickers, something that's not as important. Money in the sharing jar for can go to worthy causes, donations, church tithes, depending on, your family. And then in the last jar would be to save. The saving jar would be for more expensive items, something that they're working towards. So maybe they really want that new PlayStation 4 game. Those games are about $60 a piece, some of them. So they might want to start putting money aside to save for that larger purchase. This will help teach them goals and how to save. And it will also show them the importance of contributing or donating money to a worthy cause or for people who are less fortunate than they are. Now, once they start getting money, once they have money, obviously they need to be cautious. Now, it's nice that parents take the time to help kids learn about and earn money, but again, once they have it, they need to protect it. We like to teach our kids to share, but when they get a bit older and start using the internet, teach them not to share any personal information, especially about bank accounts. Make sure you know which sites your kids are visiting, and if you do not approve of them, block them. Kids nowadays, everything is social media, from Facebook to Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is. Make certain that they're not giving out any personal information about themselves. There are way too many bad people lurking behind their keyboards, waiting to take advantage of those of us who are not paying attention. Also, introduce your kids to the banking system. Have them go with you to the bank and physically open an account with them once they're old enough. They can bring their own cash, it could be from their savings jar, bring their own cash and give it to the banking rep. It's an exciting and educational event. And lastly, some kids like to show off the money that they've saved with their friends, especially if they keep it in the house. You want to help them understand that money is a personal matter and it's their business. Other kids may get jealous and perhaps even steal the money. So you don't want that to happen. When they get older and they start to carry money around with them, this even happens in grade school, teach them the hard lesson about lending out money, namely that there is a chance they won't get it back. So they need to be very, very careful. Um, I remember an example, one of my clients, her son was, he had his own little debit card and he saw online, you can get all this stuff for free, just pay the shipping. But didn't realize that if you sign up for it, they're going to automatically debit your account every month for like, I think it was like 39 or $49. He didn't read the fine print and he was ready to go and order this stuff because, he had he had his student checking account and he had his little card and he was ready to shop. So you need to be careful and you need to stay on top of the things that they're looking at online because you never know what could happen. Now we're going to get into paying for college. The College Board was created in 1900. They are a mission driven, not for profit organization that connects students to college success and opportunity. So, according to the most recent survey of college pricing, the College Board reported that the combined average cost of tuition and fees for the 2016-2017 school years are at these amounts. So, for private colleges, they're at 33,480. For state residents at public colleges, about 9,650. For out-of-state residents at public universities or colleges, it's 24,930. These are like staggering numbers. For room and board at a four-year public school is $10,440. At a private school, it's 11,890. And this is the reason why you want your kids to know the importance and the value of money, the value of saving and putting it aside. Because depending on how old they are, by the time they're ready to go to college or university, these numbers might have doubled and or tripled. Okay? Books and supplies at public colleges come in at 1,250 and at private colleges 1,230. Now, in 2016, the average student loan debt for graduates was $37,172, and that was up 6% from the previous year. And this is the reason why students and parents must be aware of the types of loans they take out and how much they are borrowing. They must also think about the major that the student wants to study. Some college kids graduate with majors that have no job relevancy. So find out what the workforce is looking for and choose the appropriate major so that your student can graduate and find a job. Other strategies to save money on college are advanced placement or AP courses in high schools that can allow students to earn credit or advanced standing at most colleges and universities. Perhaps going to a local school or a community college, if available, can save the cost of room and board and tuition rates, so they won't have to pay room and board. You saw that it was at $10,000 for public schools. So if you can save yourself a good 10 grand, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. Some employers also will pay for a part or all of higher education expenses, so that way you can work your way through college without taking on debt. So depending again on the employer, the type of career they're looking at, maybe they'll pay for their higher education. So there's always good things to look into. Perhaps, working and taking a course at a time instead of a full semester, you may not be able to afford it. If you can avoid those student loans, then at all means avoid those student loans. So now I'm going to open up the floor. I'm going to introduce Charmaine Buckner from Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union to talk about the products that they offer for students, children, etc. Charmaine, can you hear me? Are you on the line?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Charmaine. Um, uh, First of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Charmaine, for going in detail on the various stages, that kids go through and what they're actually learning. Here at Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union, we have a number of student accounts that walk through the various stages as kids are learning these basic fundamental money management skills. One of the accounts that we start children the ages 12 and under with is our Sensible Savings Club. And with that, they can open up a savings account and deposit money into their account and just watch it grow. Alongside with that, they learn with some fun characters, some of the basic things such as savings, needs and wants, and so forth. The next account that's up from that is the Teen Time account, which is from ages 13 to 17. And with this account, this shows them a little bit more responsibility. They get a checking account, a real life checking account, and also they get the tools to manage that account. So not only are they going to get just a basic checking account, but they're going to get a debit card. They're going to get access to online banking through audio teller, so that they could check balances and understand when they make deposits and withdrawals, and begin to understand things such as transfers and so forth. So that gives them a little bit of experience in how to manage their money when they get that first job. After that, we're transitioning them to the next level of the account called the Flying Solo, and that's 18 to 25. So now you're a young adult. You're starting out in the world, and you have these tools to help you to manage your way through life in college and so forth. So we encourage everyone here on the webinar today to come and talk to us a little bit about your needs, and we can find a product and a solution to help you start to learn how to manage your money. So thanks so much, Charmaine.
Thank you very much, Charmaine, as well. That was great information. I'm going to open up the floor now for questions to see are there any questions that you all may have for me. Again, type it into the question box, and I will answer what I can. And I know today's webinar was supposed to be a short one, so we're going to try and keep it within that half an hour time frame. Okay. Well, it doesn't look as if there are any questions. Please remember that your handouts are also in your menu bar. We have the white paper, which recaps everything that I've discussed today, and also a copy of the presentation as well. So if there are no questions, I'm going to keep it moving, and I want to thank you for attending today's educational webinar. To learn more about Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union or to speak with a member service representative, please visit www.princegeorgescfcu.org. It's on the screen, excuse me, or call 800-952-7428 or 301-627-2666. We would like to thank you again for attending today, and we hope that you found it very informative. To schedule your free 60-minute financial coaching session, please call Coffee at 866-459-5165. Thank you all again for attending, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.